the person that I see on there is a person that I don't recognize really, to be honest with you. And it's hard to watch sometimes.
Hi babes, it's me, Tia Kofi, and welcome to Attitude Tea Time in association with Taimi, where each week I'll be serving you the freshly brewed tea from Drag Race UK Season 3 with the latest eliminee. And this week I'm joined by Macaulay Culkin. No, it's Scarlett Harlett. First things first, Scarlett, I've got to talk about the fact that we know each other.
We do.
We've known each other for a very long time.
We have.
And we've seeing you grow and sort of move from sound twink to full drag queen and now drag race icon. How does it feel to have
I can say the same for you as well, and I'm sure you can attest to this. It is. I don't think there's any words that could describe how wild it is, and like, you know, going through Drag Race, so many unbelievable, almost near impossible dreams become achieved that it's almost like you can't even pick one at that point, can you? Because it's so wild. So yeah, it's been an absolute roller coaster, as you've seen. But I mean, it's Drag Race, and you know, I'm so happy to be on it and to be for the process, even though it has been a bit like that. But you know, we'll get into that.
Oh, we will. But I feel like we should celebrate your time on Drag Race, pop to the Admiral Duncan or Halfway to Heaven for a little beverage.
Yes, we'll get a good old bevy and cheers to the Bianca from EastEnders leaving Drag Race.
I mean, but that was iconic. Do you know what I mean? You actually served Bianca on the road.
I had to be very on brand. I'm the queen of the East End after all. So I just thought I'd try and give Bianca and give a bit of Ricky! So that's me.
Oh my god, you need to tweet Patsy Julie.
Oh my god. You know, I'm a DJ. I don't like saying I'm a DJ, but I'm a DJ. That's what she said on This Morning. Did you see that?
Yeah, Patsy Julie. I love it. I called her Patsy Julie. Was that one of your backup snatch games?
No, I was going to do Katie Hopkins, actually. Well, I was never planning on doing it, but you know, you got to take two options. So Katie was my second one.
Go on, give us a bit of Katie Hopkins.
Well, actually, I think you're quite ugly, and I think you're quite hideous, actually. So yes.
Oh, you sound like my Grindr messages. That's right.
Ping, ping. Well, I never claimed to be hilarious all the time, so that's why I was never going to do it, to be honest. I had Danny Dyer, and then obviously I did Macaulay Culkin, and I had nothing prepared. But funny thing is that when RuPaul loved the Macaulay so much, I thought, oh God, I've got to do it, even though I don't know nothing about him. I remember looking around the room thinking, I need a sign to say it's okay to do Macaulay, because if I get a sign, that'll say that it'll be okay, because I don't know anything about him. So I looked around and I was like, what am I going to wear? And I saw in the corner this jumper that I bought to do Katie Hopkins with, and it was almost identical to one of the ones that he wears in Home Alone. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, it's fate. I have to bloody do it. So I pulled that character out of my absolute bumhole with no prior knowledge, because it's Drag Race and you've got to do what RuPaul wants, and he made us all change, didn't he? So, well,
at least you didn't mention Michael Jackson. That's a blessing.
I did, but they cut it out. And I won't say what I said because it's not, it was a bit crude, but yeah.
Was a bit. Now, you said Drag Race, you have no time to really think, really time to prepare. And this week you had a against the clock timed challenge, which felt like high drama, all sort of like in the moment, happening in the space of about 3 hours?
Yeah, probably less. I can't even remember. It felt like the snap of a finger. And don't forget, you had the tannoys around the room, which even, and you know this, just the RuPaul's voice puts the fear of God into you alone. So to hear the tannoys while you're getting ready, I just remember just my testicles leaving my body. It was so scary. But it's Drag Race and you got to do what you got to do. And you got to get ready, if they're telling you got to get ready for the runway in 10 minutes, then bitch, you can't get ready for the runway in 10 minutes.
I mean, that was mad. How many looks? You did 3 looks, all in like no time at all. Like absolute, the rush, the panic. It was carnage.
And literally, and the funny thing was about when we had to go on stage, I didn't realise, until we were there, that we actually had to run off the main stage, run backstage, and we had to run everywhere. And so we didn't even have a moment to be like, okay, it's like we had to run to the main stage, run back off the main. It was like non-stop. It's like I'd taken about 5 Prozac or whatever they are, the Pro Plus, I mean.
Or both. I'd like to see the risk assessment for queens running in heels. Thank you.
I know. Well, I was in a little kitten heel. I was in a little tiny kitten heel for my swimwear, so thank God. Otherwise, yeah, that would have been an absolute lawsuit on the hands.
Oh my God. I mean, we've got to talk about the lip sync. Can we just? Because I understand, you lip sync 3 times. It's not the best feeling in the world, is it?
No.
But your final lip sync, you were against Vanity to the iconic Scandalous by Miss-Teeq.
That is a banger of all bangers, isn't it?
I mean, isn't it just? Also, not Alicia Dixon screaming over the top of you while you're
She wanted to climb off of that main stage and get involved. She wanted to recreate Miss-Teeq there and then, I think. Living. Even though I got eliminated, the fact that I got to lip sync to that song and to have like a fun exit, like I don't think I could have asked for better, even though nobody wants to go home on Drag Race. I was more than happy to lose to Vanity, because the second that I knew I was lip syncing with that song and Vanity next to me, I was like, book closed, I'm going home. You know what I mean? And so I just had a good time and you know, and I think that hopefully you can see that, because that is one of my favorite songs. I didn't need to learn the lyrics for that because I knew it already. So I had the time of my life doing that song. I really did.
I mean, I was lip syncing at home because it's one of my favorite songs as well. And I just love the fact that you gave like a full hen party vibe. Letters Bianca, given
I did. Like, I was white girl wasted. I think that's what I was.
Exactly that. I do think the one moment that you were really outspoken was the reading challenge.
Oh gosh.
How did you? I mean, that was really releasing the beast, wasn't it? How did you feel like getting that all out of your system?
You know what? In the moment, I remember. This is the thing I will say that, and I'm sure you can attest to this. Like in the moment of filming it, your feelings are so intense that it can cloud your judgment almost. And I remember, you know, the previous episode with the fallout from Untucked. I remember coming out of that and feeling so like alone in the room and feeling so like. I just felt like if I wasn't going to be my own cheerleader, and I didn't want the girls to see me sweat, basically, which is, you know, it's the worst thing that can happen in a competition, because if the girls see that you're being hard on yourself and you're kind of second guessing yourself, like it happened in episode 5, they saw that I was second guessing myself and they all just, you know, went in for the kill per se. And so my mentality was that even though in reality, I wanted to walk away crying, you know, because that's how I deal with things. In real life, I would be like, okay, I'm just going to walk away and take myself out of this situation. But on Drag Race, you can't do that. You know, you've got to keep going and blah, 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 and deal with things as they come. So the person that I see on there is a person that I don't recognize, really, to be honest with you. And it's hard to watch sometimes with the reading challenge and these things, because I see someone that is desperately fighting tooth and nail to prove to people that, like, you know, oh, I still deserve to be here, like, you know, and it's hard to watch that because, you know, I can just see what I'm thinking in my head, and I'm just it hurts me a little bit to see it come out that way, because I know it's just a silly defense mechanism to just try and not, you know, show any weaknesses to the girls, and to try and feel like my position in the place was validated at that time, because they all said I should have gone last week, so the week before. So yeah, I mean, I do regret the way it came out, but yeah, I mean, it was still camp to watch and it was fun. So yeah.
I mean, you made it entertaining, which contrasts with what you said about Ella this week, which is that she's boring.
Oh God, I'm so sorry about that. By the way, I will admit that again, that's another thing. It goes back to what I just said. I was saying that out of pure desperation to feel like I needed to validate myself in the competition, and it's embarrassing to watch. And I will be honest with you, when that conversation started, I could see where it was going, and I just went and I forwarded it. I couldn't watch it because it was so embarrassing to watch me talk like that. I just don't like it. I just don't like it, and I didn't like talking. I didn't like seeing myself talk to Ella that way, because I don't agree with what I said there. Ella is so fun, and you can see that she just won the Snatch game for being funny and all of that. And you know, that was just me being an idiot because I was so desperate to feel like I still needed my place and, you know, all that. But so, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of skipped through it a little bit because I was cringing.
I don't think you need to be so hard on yourself though, because I think everyone, like your season particularly, are all so bonded, so friendly, and so lovely. Everyone understands what's going on. Like, I mean, I've been through it and heard people say a lot of things about me that I don't like. But it doesn't mean anything in that kind of moment, in that competitive environment. So much pressure. And also, we've been watching it for so many years. You kind of have that thought of like, what are the audience going to say about this in your head?
And you know, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if we're going to get into the Untucked thing, but like, it's the iconic line, the now infamous line when I said, I don't feel like talking, thanks, was because like, that was my reaction of being like, if I could, I would remove myself from this situation and not discuss it, because I was having so many, you know, I was hanging on by a thread. My sanity was hanging on by a thread at that point, because I'd spoken about my mum, and then I walked onto the main stage. I got read to filth, and then I got everyone said that I should go. And then we walked into Untucked, and then, you know, I had to deal with it there. So I was literally trying to not burst into tears, you know. And so my reaction came out as the way it did, because I was trying not to cry and trying not to be like, feel overwhelmed by the whole situation. So yeah, literally, like, even though I watched that back and it's nice to see it now and realize that, like, it's drama, it's TV, it's Drag Race. That's what it's about. And as hard as it was to do it, and as hard as it was to watch it, and it still is, I can still appreciate that, like, this is what Drag Race is about. It's about having drama and fallouts, and, you know, not everyone's going to like you. And unfortunately, you know, I've had some negative feedback from that situation, but I would just like people to know that, you know, the person that I see there is not the person that I am or I try to be. That is the person that came out of pure anxiety, you know, and yeah, as hard as it is to watch it, you know, we all got the drama, and that's what we live for on Drag Race, is the drama. And, you know, don't feel like talking right now. So we got the drama moment in the end, didn't we?
I mean, we did, but also for anyone who's giving you negative comments, I wouldn't call it feedback. I'd just say people giving their opinions without being asked.
Yes.
It's actually quite a smart decision. If you're in an argument and you don't want to sort of rise to the situation and you don't want to get upset, why wouldn't you remove yourself from that kind of environment? I kind of think it's fair enough. People should do that more often in real life, shouldn't they?
I agree.
Shouting at each other.
I think in reality, like, I am the kind of person that when things get on top of me, I immediately walk away and remove myself. But, you know, you can't do that on Drag Race. RuPaul is waiting. And so you have to face what's happening there and then. And so, you know, unfortunately, you know, what happened. But I'm hoping that as time goes on and as my journey, because it's happening right now as it is, but as time goes on, I'm hoping that I and some of the people watching back can just understand that, like, you know, it is a really high pressure environment. And sometimes you do things that you really, really regret because of the pressure that you put on yourself and that you feel from the other girls and the judges. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things as well. You were very sort of like proudly saying that you're an East End queen, you've come from a working class background and all of that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Do you think in a way some queens have a bit of an advantage on the show because of like where you've come from and that kind of background, especially like financially, for example? We've heard Veronica talk about how she had no money to prepare for it.
Absolutely. I think a perfect example for me is that with the wet lettuce dress, I couldn't afford to get a proper, like, this was meant to be my fruit look, an orange, but I was worried it was a bit too simple because it's just a dress and a blah, blah, blah. So I decided to go with that dress, but I hired that dress. And I know that a lot of people out there will have seen that other people have worn that dress. Like, I think Ahura has worn it at some point as well. So I'm not the first person to wear that dress, but I didn't have the money to go in there and create a new outfit for every single category. And so I had to do what I had to do. And, you know, if you've got to walk out there as a vegetable and not a fruit, then sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, haven't you? So,
babe, we're all fruits in a way, aren't we?
Exactly.
I was just upset no one walked out dressed as Ginny Lemon.
Well, exactly. I was almost like Ginny Lemon when she did the toxic look when she walked off.
That's very true. So all the queens on your season, as I said, are just like super lovely and super friendly. Are you all like chatting in a WhatsApp group, having a camp old time together?
We have our lovely WhatsApp group, and you know what? I can't ask for better sisters, to be honest, because even through the whole drama of what's happened and blah blah blah, like they've been so supportive. They have really, really been so supportive. Like, and it's been hard because, like I said, my first reaction when things get difficult and watching the past couple of episodes have been difficult. I'm not gonna lie, and you know people's reaction to it, but they have helped me so much with. Like just checking in on me, because it's easy for me to just shut down and be like, okay, you know, but they've kind of made a conscious effort to kind of reach out and make me feel like it's okay and all of that, which I can't tell you how much that's helped me, because like they were there with me, they were in the experience with me. So they are the only 11 other people that know exactly how it felt in that moment. So it's really comforting to know that I still have their support even after everything that happened, and we're all amazing friends. And like you said, we all got on really well, probably a bit too well. So that's why we all fell out, and you know, who should go home tonight and why. But you know, it's Drag Race. What happens? It's the deal, isn't it?
You were gonna do Danny Dyer for Snatch Game. You dressed as Bianca on the runway. Is the plan to be in EastEnders?
Absolutely. I'm waiting for that call. I just bought a new iPhone so that I can wait for that call from the BBC, darling. I went on Drag Race just to get on EastEnders. This is my platform now. I'm ready to be Bianca's chavvy little brother or sister or whatever.
I love that. I went on Drag Race to get on Doctor Who, to be honest with you, so I can relate with that.
There you go. It's a launch pad after all, so.
It really is. Right, I want you, as your final thought, to sum up your time on Drag Race in 3 words.
An absolute roller coaster.
I love it. I love it.
Like ebbs, flows, ups, downs, ins and outs. I wish left, right, all of it. And you know what? I wouldn't change it, because it's just madness. And I think it made the season what it was. So yeah.
It really did. And Scarlett, since, you know, we've come from that sort of old school drag world and all of that kind of thing, wouldn't it be camp to see some of the older queens on Drag Race?
I would love to see some of the older queens. And I love that, I still remember that last year you gave Miss Rose Garden a shout out for that dress that she gave you. Rose Garden for season 4.
Start the campaign right here, Rose Garden.
Go fund me.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
I would love it. I would love to see him. Oh, Rose Garden, Miss Jason, Sandra, all of them.
I think we can do it.
Absolutely.
Take note, BBC, World of Wonder.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night. You're not my mother and never will be. Anyway, but I know.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you have a gorgeous day, dressed as a wonderful, stunning fruit. Thank you for watching Attitude Tea Time, served to you in association with Taimi. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and join me, Tia Kofi, again next week for some more scalding hot tea with the Drag Race eliminee. Bye for now, babes.